And the whole reason I got the camera out. Strawberries. I have to check the jib yet, but this may be the amount of line, the tail that you'll want to have in order to have, at least for the Jenny, for it to unfurl properly. So you'll bring this retrieval line back, and that's about what you want, because if you've got too much, then you're not going to have enough wraps to fully furl that sail, because you cannot, unless you've got somebody on board to help you, do not leave that Jenny up above 10 miles an hour, because it will wrap at the bottom and it won't wrap at the top right away. And you might be okay until the wind picks up a little bit more, or until you open that jib. And when that air starts coming over that jib, it will grab that loose wrap on the top of that Jenny, and it will start to flail. And you're going to be having to put the auto steer on, and you're going to be up there on that bow, and I don't know what the conditions are. Obviously not going to be as friendly because the wind's blowing, and you're going to be up there fighting that thing. You got to release the lines so that you're up there and you can pull down on the leech of the sail to try to pull the upper wraps tighter, to tighten them up, and then physically wrap the sail around the halyard and get more wraps on it, and then tie it off securely. It's just something you have to learn. Geez, I picked the camera up. The thing's hot. I wondered why. Thought I turned it off. Sitting in the bag, turned on. We've been coasting around for about an hour and a half. The wind's kind of filled back in again, but it shifted from kind of a northwest, north, a little more east on it now. I have not touched that rudder for an hour and a half. I've just got the tiller clutch set. As the wind falls off, the boat will fall off away from the wind. And as it would come back up, fill up again, it would head back up. And as the boat speed picked up, then the rudder would have more command. If it keeps this up, I'll be able to clear the lighthouse. Whereas an hour ago, or an hour and a half ago, we were pointed over there. So probably had a 40-degree wind shift anyway. Well, I guess I'll make sure I turn the camera off this time. Good thing I got 2 batteries. I untied the knot and put Mark's threads back in there. And that is what allows enough room for the centerboard to go all the way down. So I've got that fixed. And there's the lighthouse. Kind of in a, wind's kind of petered off again. We're moving, but not fast. That's okay. I'm not in a hurry. Let's see how it'll break well. The old lighthouse, decommissioned. Just doesn't quite have the same appeal. It works. The anemometer shows there's some wind. It's probably blowing about 5, maybe. I'm not sure if it shows or not, but we've got jet contrails. We've got a lot of high pressure in the area, and those jet contrails are just everywhere, and they just are hanging and hanging and hanging everywhere. There must be 50. There's another one coming. I can see 5 that are just flying right now. Very stable air up high. Now my brother just stopped on his jet ski. He and Ward were out fishing. He said that about an hour ago there was almost whitecaps out a little further. So that's how well protected I am in here. But you know, need to get in, get anchored. I saw the boats that were out sailing are all motoring in. So Nice quiet evening. Yeah, I got the others. I put the other battery in. It's a very quiet morning. I've been swinging on a loose anchor line since I've gotten up. It's about 9 o'clock now. Some of the things I do on the boat to quiet it down and to reduce the wear and tear while you're just sitting at anchor. This boat is not something that should be kept in a marina with an active mast and having what would be called a loose rig. I secure the jenny and the jib together. I just wrap one of the sheets around it. That keeps them both from flopping and flailing, and it just takes a little bit of wave action to do that. I then also tie on to the mast boom for mast rotation, and I secure that over here on the stay. It uses a very smooth hook, so there's no abrasion. I secure the main. I also take the halyard and stick it in front of the spreader, and that stops it from slapping, because otherwise it's just, I like to have it quiet at night. And then the boom, which will want to be swinging back and forth a little bit. You don't want to have to be cranking down excessively. I then just use my spring line and just bring it up and tie it off, and it just keeps the action down. Now, of course, if it's not quiet, if there's wave action, there's going to be a little bit more movement. Maybe I would tie it off the other way also. One thing this boat will do, it will move on a breath of air. You just have to keep the sheets loose, let the boat find itself. Of course, you got to do a little sailor stuff too, but and then sit down and don't move. I had to backwind, pick the rudder up in there because the water got to where it was less than 2 feet deep. Backwinded it, and then the boat stopped, started moving forward just on the main. And once I got a little headway, then I sorted out the jib, made sure I had enough wraps. Again, that's how much lead you want on the rewind line on both of them, and you can set that before you put the boat in the water by just winding the sail, and that gives you two wraps also. I'm staying in close here because I want to go past my brothers, but you can see the seagulls, they're just sitting, and I'm running right now on apparent wind, because you look at the water, there might be some stuff up at the top of the sail, but there's not much on the water. I feel it on my right cheek right now. If the boat was stopped, I'd be feeling it probably, I should say, I'm quartering it on the right cheek. I'd be feeling it on my ear if the boat wasn't moving. But again, you sit quietly, let the boat start to move, and it will give you increased apparent wind versus true wind, and you can the boat will start to move. You'll gain rudder, get enough water to get the centerboard down, especially if you're going upwind, because other than that you're not going to be creating lift, and the boat won't create speed. But again, you don't want to hit a rock. So we're moving along pretty smartly right now, considering there's a little wind shadow. And we'll see what we're going to do today. I don't want to get caught. The wind's supposed to come out of the east. I don't want to get caught too far west and having to tack all the way back. We'll see. Lorraine Water Plant. That's where we get our water from. Well, actually it comes from the lake. Wind quit. I feel a little on my back again now. Once I get to my brother's, then I'll decide what I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to commit to going to Vermilion. It's not that far. It's a long day, but I don't want to have to tack all the way back when the wind comes shifting out of the east. I'm supposed to do that later. And I thought about swimming ashore and going to get some Toft's ice cream and maybe a chicken paprikash at one of the restaurants, but we'll see. Well, as predicted, the wind went from southwest, southeast, west, northwest to east, but it did it earlier than I thought, about 10:45, so I'm headed downwind now. Not doing too much sailor stuff. I could reroute that line to the outer sheave and hold that Jenny out, but I'm probably half a mile from my brother's. I'm just tucked into the shade of the main here, staying behind, out of the sun. I forgot my cable. Well, I didn't forget it. I didn't bring it for the phone because I decided not to use it a lot, but it's the same cable I use to charge my required white stern light for night. So maybe I can swap some batteries and use my Harbor Freight flashlight, which was the original light I used, and I can somehow manage. But I don't think I'm probably not gonna do Vermilion today. Things would have to change drastically. About 1.5. Not bad. It's pretty darn comfortable. Even got a little breeze. It's starting to pick up out of the east a little more, strengthen up. Sailing past my brother's place. They finally moved the railroad cars. They've been sitting there for months. I was calling the city and saying, hey, I'm paying for waterfront here and I can't see. I think there were a few other people that complained, oh, too bad, nothing we can do. Well, I'm paying lakefront taxes. So, looks like they finally moved stuff. Well, pulled up onto the wind and the boat perked right up. I was not sailing efficiently downwind. I was just letting the main and just coasting because I was in close. My brother was there. I wanted a chance to be able to yell up and say hi. He was probably out sunbathing. And I don't think I'm going to be going to Vermilion. I don't want to. Well, I mean, I could get there fairly quick, but then I'd have to be tacking all the way back. I'm just going to stay out in front of Lorraine. Mostly hands off. I'm just using the tiller lock, tweaking it now and then. Got the main sheeted over center. Pretty good tension on the sheet. The Traveler is over center. sailed a mile. I don't know why these guys do this. Now I gotta go through the slop. They're headed out to fish. cadence. We're 100 yards apart. Relax. Get some photos of it. Sail number 266. Well, first time using my waterproof case. Boy, I don't have a tether on here. I probably should, but let's give it a go. Good wind here. I don't know how much current there's going to be. There's the camera here. Oh good, I can just touch bottom, that helps. Take a look at this. Back and forth a little bit. That's understandable. And I don't mind that so much because I hear a little bit of a bump once in a while going to windward hard. Otherwise, it's a little sticky going down, but you just got to pull, keep pressure, and then she goes. I'm not going to try sanding anything else. It has to be pretty precision fit when you consider this is the epoxy wood composite boat and board. And then you got to put paint on it. You got to allow for the thickness of the paint. so that I don't might hit my head. I got black shit all over me. That's the one thing about this road I cannot stand, is that black blade of bottom paint. What a freaking mess. Alright. Very light southeast wind this morning. I just pulled anchor. I suppose I could have filmed it, but I just raised the main with a very light wind, or even just a medium wind. The boat will stay pulling on the anchor, and then when I've got everything ready to go, I keep the main leash loose sheeted on a battery.
That's pretty much why you want to just tie those things down so they don't wear out all those pins, all that shock loading on those shrouds, all those bolts holding the mast up. They're all taking some pretty heavy abuse.